Hello, Facebook fans. This is Ken D. Foster. I'm in studio. You're behind the scenes here at KCBQ Studios in San Diego. I'm with Laurie and Master Buddha.
Master Cat Puda.
Puda. Oh, I always think Puda's a Buddha. So, she is a Buddha, right? Yeah. All right. So we got an amazing show today. It's called The Courage to Communicate with Your Higher Self. This is not like a show that I've done before. This is a show that will really help expand your awareness, expand consciousness, and by so doing, you're going to be able to see things that you have not been able to see before, most likely, and hear things maybe you haven't heard before, and maybe even do things that have been impossible for you to do before. So stay tuned. We're going to rock it. Go,
Voices
Todd.
of Courage is sponsored by Ken D. Foster.
It's time to take a journey, to find your courage, break through your limits, and master your destiny. It's time for Ken D. Foster's Voices of Courage. Ken brings you some of the most courageous people on the planet that will inspire greatness within you and change your life for the better. It's time to see the unseeable, know the unknowable, and do the impossible. It's time for Voices of Courage. And here's your host, Ken D. Foster.
Well, hello and welcome. This is going to be an amazing show, an amazing day. Listen, did you know in January 2017, an international team of astronomers led by Christopher Consilence, he's the professor of astrophysics at the University of Nottingham, found that the universe now contains 2 trillion galaxies. 2 trillion. And current estimates in the Milky Way galaxy, which is where we live, is that it contains between 200 and 400 billion stars and at least 100 billion planets. And according to research done in 2017, there is approximately 13.8 billion. The universe itself is 13.8 billion years old. Mind-blowing, right? Well, let me expand your mind a little more. Did you know that the size of the universe has been estimated? The scientists have found that between Earth and the edge of the observable universe is 46 billion light years. What's a light year? It's the distance light travels at 186,000 miles per second for 1 year. So how far does light travel in a year? About 6 trillion miles. Now, that's 6 with 12 zeros behind it, okay? That's 1 year. The universe goes out 46 billion light years. Is that mind-blowing? Hi, I'm your host, Ken D. Foster, and today our show is called The Courage to Communicate with Your Higher Self. You know, I haven't done a show like this before, and it could be my most important show to date because this show is addressing a topic today which is passed up by most people, but embraced by those who are really looking to expand their consciousness and expand their inner wisdom. You see, to grow ourselves, we have to think outside the box. We have to get outside of our little thinking. Your greatest thinking has got you right where you are today, and your greatest thinking will keep you stuck unless you blow past your limitations and connect with your higher self, which represents the unlimited possibilities and helps you to see reality clearly. So today, this show, I'm hoping that you, for a few minutes, can suspend your judgments, your critiques, your thinking about what this show is or isn't, and really just become an observer. Become an observer of what the information that is being shared, allowing yourself to know that, you know, we live in this vast, vast universe, right? And most of us are playing so small and really not mastering or even attempting to master the gifts that we've been given. We're staying in our comfort zone. Now, of course, this isn't my listeners. My listeners are always growing and learning and evolving themselves, right? But, you know, some of us are still stuck, right? So this show is really dedicated to you to get you unstuck and really tuning really in to your higher self, all right? So let me tell you this too. By most estimates, they tell us we have 100 billion cells in our brain. Okay? 100 billion brain cells. Oh, that's pretty cool. About 10 times that, or about 1 trillion cells, is the actual number, because the 100 billion is only our neurons. Okay, when you add neurons with the glia, which is the rest of the cells, we have about 1 trillion cells. So, why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because I want you to think. Why are there so many stars in the sky, so many planets? Why is the universe so gigantic? And why do you have 10 trillion cells in your head, and yet they tell us we're using maybe 10% of that? Why is that? Okay? Well, I can tell you this. Part of this is for you to, for all of us, to connect with something greater than ourselves. We have to connect with that part of ourselves that we can't feel it, we can't taste it, we can't touch it, we can't even see it, but it's there. It's this place that opens our hearts up, opens our minds up when we tune into it, right? So that's what this show is all about, right? You know, this show for some of you, I believe, might be a show that helps you rethink your purpose for even being here, right? So some of us think, our purpose is maybe to find God. Other people say their purpose is there is no purpose. It's just there's no meaning in life. It's the meaning that we give us. Well, I believe that there is a purpose, and that purpose leaves clues all around us, and they're in plain view. And some of those purposes are this. They're there to, when I talk about how big the universe is, I want you to start thinking about, how big am I? How can I expand my consciousness? How can I expand my understanding of what is? How can I maximize my latent potentials? Well, what are your latent potentials? You have to ask yourself that. What are my latent potentials? Maybe there's a part of me that is omnipresent and I've never tuned into it. Maybe I can see auras and I've never been able to see them. Maybe I can talk with animals and I've never experienced that. Maybe I can become a yogi and levitate. I've never experienced that, okay? Kind of wild, right? Kind of out there. But I have to say, there's so much scientific evidence around everything I just said. There's so much science around what's going on in the world. I will say this, that I was watching 2008. I was watching The Oprah Show, and David Blaine came on, and he was going to set a new world record. He's going to go on Oprah, and he's going to go underneath the. He had a big tank of water on stage. They put him in it, and he held his breath for 17 minutes. Wow, how cool that! 4 seconds, 17 minutes, 4 seconds. So, I thought that was over the top, right? Well, the current record is held by a guy by the name of Alex Segura, and Alex has the Guinness World Record for 24 minutes. 24 minutes. Now, how do you hold your breath for 24 minutes? Well, you don't do it by just holding your breath. You have to learn how to get outside of your physical body, right? And be able to allow yourself to go into higher states of consciousness. That's the only way that this is possible. In fact, in India, back in the 1800s, there was a guy by the name of Sadhu Haran who was commissioned to be buried in the royal palace in India. And they buried the guy, and they buried him for 2 months, and they brought him back. They were surrounded by guards, okay, British guards of all things. They brought him back to life, and he went on to live another life, right? So much is out there, but, we have to be able to open our minds and open our hearts and open our ways of seeing things if you want to change. So are you willing to change today? Are you willing to grow? Are you willing to take your life to a completely new level? I hope some of you are saying yes, because right now you are listening to a show, and we're dedicating this show to your higher self, to opening an awareness of your higher self. Now, I have a guest coming on in my next segment here, and Laurie had a near-death experience that she's going to talk to us a little bit about. And what happened with her, and I'm not saying you have to die to do this, but you do have to die to your old self, your old thinking to do this. She can now communicate with animals. She can see things that none of us can see. She feels things that nobody feels, or very few. I should say nobody. Very few people feel. But listen, what one person can do, we can all do. It's a matter of understanding how to tune into these higher frequencies and be able to take your life to a new level. So we are going to be right back, and we're going to be talking about the near-death experience and how that changed Laurie's life and how it will change your life when you hear this.
We'll be back with more Voices of Courage with Ken D. Foster.
Attention business owners. The feeling of being overwhelmed, stressed out, and facing difficult business challenges goes hand in hand with being an entrepreneur. But there are solutions, and it's time to explore the possibilities. You work hard as an entrepreneur. Give yourself the break you deserve. Ken D. Foster is the business coach for you. Ken has over 21 years of experience with leaders just like you, who trust to share what is truly going on in their business and that thing called life. You're invited to set up a free confidential consultation with Ken. His wisdom, guided methods, and unique strategies will bring you to new heights and break through obstacles. Visit KenDFoster.com to set up your free confidential consultation. It's time to achieve your dreams because you deserve a successful business and a balanced, happy life. Sound great? Find out how to make this happen. Visit KenDFoster.com. That's KenDFoster.com. KenDFoster.com.
Are you feeling stuck or in a holding pattern with your business or life and you're not doing the things you want or love? Then at some point, you're going to be faced with a decision. You'll either choose to keep living in your comfort zone and risk a life of mediocrity, or increase your courage, step into your power, and forge into the unknown, where everything new becomes possible. If you're truly ready to live masterfully, then you need Ken D. Foster's newest book, The Courage to Change Everything, Strategies and Wisdom to Transform Your Life One Day at a Time. This powerful but simple guide provides you with 365 days of life-transforming wisdom, profound questions, and action steps that will increase your strength and open the doors to success. Stop wondering why your business or life isn't working. The answers are available now. Imagine if you had more courage or another chance to start following your dreams. To pick up your copy of The Courage to Change Everything, visit thecouragetochangeeverything.com. That's thecouragetochangeeverything.com.
We're back with Voices of Courage. And now your host, Ken D. Foster.
Whatever it takes, 'cause I love the adrenaline in my veins. I do whatever.
Welcome back. Well, this is the day. This is the day to do whatever it takes to get outside of your small thinking. This is the day. Listen, this show is really been a blessing to me, and I know a blessing to many people out there. So I want to thank all of you for tuning in to Voices of Courage. And if you're new to the show, we're a new type of radio. We're called Experience Radio. Well, we encourage our audience to engage with us in growing their businesses and growing their lives. And you can find us on the web at www.voicesofcourage.us. Again, voicesofcourage.us, or just ask Siri, Cortana, or Alexa to play Voices of Courage podcast, and our latest show will come right up. I have a gift for everybody listening today. There's a webinar coming up that is called the I'm not sure exactly what the name of it is, but it's designed to, here it is. It's called the Create Unstoppable Self-Confidence. Create Unstoppable Self-Confidence, a webinar. And there's 24 experts through November 5th through 11th. And if you'd like to find out a little bit more about this, there's no cost to you, by the way, no cost to my listeners. You can go to, and I'll spell it out, it's AVAIYA.com, AVAIYA.com/Voices of Courage. If you go there, you'll be able to connect with all those experts and increase your self-confidence. Also want to let you know, Our show's being brought to you by Women's Wisdom, women empowering women in friendship in business. They are San Diego's premier networking and relationship building group for purpose-driven and soul-inspired females, and you can find them at womenswisdom.net. That's womenswisdom.net. All right, the time we've been waiting for. I'm so excited. Laurie, welcome in studio.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, it's so good to have you. So let me just tell you a little bit about Laurie. Laurie Reyon Anderson is a nationally known animal communicator and teacher. In 1994, she suffered an accident with complications and ultimately experienced a near-death experience during which she actually died for 6 minutes. Subsequent to the accident, she has developed her gift, which allows her to speak to animals and angels and translate their messages to humanity. Laurie, thank you for being here. It's so good to have you.
It's a pleasure. It's an honor. Yeah.
Wow.
Thank
Tell me a little bit about what happened. You know, you're in Hollywood. You're doing your thing, and
I was running a big performing arts center at the time. And had a career as a dancer and a choreographer. And I was very happy.
Yeah.
But one thing led to another, synchronistically, I guess, to move me to the next path, which is this path. Of course, I didn't understand all of that at the time, but complications arose from a car accident where I was a passenger, and I wasn't a very good patient. I'd taken the drug Coumadin, which is, to thin your blood, because I had a hematoma form over my right ear. And then later I had surgery to restore my hearing because I was a tap dancer, and, my hearing was off and didn't really let the two doctors communicate and so forth. Things happen for a reason, though. Long story short is the hematoma continued to bleed through my eardrum. The surgery burst my eardrum. So I basically went into kind of a delusional state and locked myself in my house and bled to death. It was over about 5 days.
wow.
Yeah, a lot of pain, and pain will break you down.
Pain will break
And
you down.
it sounds kind of strange for somebody who led an empowered life, but it was right after the Northridge earthquake, and people were still living in their cars. And at that time, I had a huge issue, which maybe some of you can relate to, which is called martyrdom. I can do it myself.
Oh,
yeah.
You were a martyr.
Oh, yeah, one of the best. I had a big trophy for it, yeah.
Hey, I know a few people who have been there.
I'll go down with the ship kind of thing,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But
Right.
when I had the experience, my cat, Pootie at the time, and I were very close. He was very different, which I believe in my world, the cat I'm sitting with now is an extension or a reincarnation or whatever you want to call it of that soul, has stayed with me and continued to return. But he would wrap his body around my head and try to keep me, alive, I guess you'd say. And that night he encouraged me to go to the hospital and where I could get surgery. I passed out in the hospital, and of course they saved my life. But in the interim, I did die, and I did have an experience on the other side, which was amazing. And I got to see the soul of my mother, who was an amazing being, and the soul of the cat, and a tour, I guess you'd say, of the universe. I saw my horse who'd passed over, who was very close to. Earlier years, I was a trick rider. I traveled with my horse.
Wow. Yeah, I saw you were in Buffalo Bill's
Wild West show.
Wow.
Yeah, as a kid.
Yeah.
Raised in Nebraska, and that's where it was first put on there in Scouts Rest Ranch. So I've had it, my whole life has been centered around animals. They were my first love. And I'd studied veterinary medicine in my college years, thought I was going to be a veterinarian, but it didn't make me happy, and I didn't know why.
Yeah.
And I now know why, because I hadn't really discovered energy healing.
Yeah.
And consciousness. I mean, the animals made me happy, but the Western medicine didn't.
Right.
And I think there's a place for it, but that wasn't my place. At the
It
time.
wasn't your place. So
Yeah.
when you had that near-death experience, you came out. Did you come out changed?
I
would you
did.
say?
I did
Yeah.
come to. Well, at first, I think most people will tell you that have had a near-death experience that it's a little bit depressing coming back, because the best way I could describe it is the other side is color and this is black and white. A little bit like that. So
Yeah.
you have to kind of figure out why. And health was really bad for about 3 years with my immune system shutting down and getting sick a lot. So I retreated to Mexico, which was one of my favorite places in the world, to south of Rosarito. I used to go down 3-4 times a year in vacation, short vacations. And I used to take all my teachers down there, and we'd choreograph. We'd rent a big house and choreograph the next year's, like our show retreats and what we were going to teach. And so I loved Mexico, and I ended up there, and these dolphins came out in front of my house every day, and the cat would come out with me, Pootie, and sit with me. And I started to realize that I was really lots more telepathic than I originally was.
How did that show up initially? Because I think a lot of people are telepathic. They just
Absolutely.
they're not tuned into that. How did you happen to tune?
Yeah,
into
well,
that?
see, that's the thing. I when I grew up, like I said, in Nebraska, I know I was telepathic with animals now. But see, because it's a natural gift that we all have, and mine was pretty developed as a child, I think you think everyone has it. I think that's what I thought.
Oh.
Because people would bring me horses that were mean or would buck and whatever.
It seems like everybody has it, but it's not developed.
Right. So mine just became super developed. And what really happens is your third eye opens up. That's your pineal gland. And your heart opens up. And when they connect, this gift is available to all of us, as well as the other gifts of clairvoyance and clairsentience, clear knowing, claircognizance, clear knowing, some clear feeling and clear knowing. People have different ways of combining these gifts, but I think the ultimate goal is for us to establish all of them so that we never feel alone. We always feel connected to our soul, to our higher self, and to the divine within us. So animals and angels want to talk to everyone. They're here. And believe me, they're talking 24/7. They're all talking. It's just we have to raise our vibration. It's kind of like going from AM to FM, okay? You got to tune up.
You got to tune up. You know, I know that I've had this experience myself, and others have told me that where they're in an accident and everything starts to slow down, right? And you know, or they're in an accident and they feel like they've been caught. You know, they fall off their bicycle or motorcycle accident or something, and they're flying in the air, and they feel like somebody's like catching them and putting them to the ground with it. So is that real? Or is
I'm sure it is to them. My experience was going through a tunnel. And it was very fast. It was like a trillion miles a second, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going so fast, you return to light. And then where I emerged, there was a brighter light. And that's when I saw my horse, my grandmother. I saw Jesus. I saw my guides. And I had what do they call it? A review, a life review. They took me to a machine that's sort of holographic. And I saw everything from before I was born to the moment, that moment.
And so when you came back, what did you know that you were going to do something different? What happened?
Well, when I came back, again, I knew that I was ill. You know, it was going to take time to recover. I knew that the gift of telepathy was there, but I really thought I was crazy because of the 3D world. You know, I just thought, how can... My cat was laying next to me in bed, and he was talking about things like creating heaven on earth. And he wanted to know if I'd write a prayer down for him. Things like that, you know. And then outside in front of the little house in Rosarito, when the dolphins came, he said, they want to talk to you.
Wow.
They're here to help humanity.
Right.
Things like that.
Yeah.
So you think you're crazy.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, this is a little beyond, I want chicken for dinner.
Right.
You know.
Right.
Which is kind of where it was before. Before the accident, he would come to the dance school, and he would lay on a director's chair in the ballet room. He was always different.
Yeah.
But he was wanting that high vibration.
Right.
More so than go climb a tree. So.
Right. And so how did you take the gift? First of all, you had to get out of the part where you thought you were crazy.
Right.
And then you had to take this gift and start to do something in the world.
Right.
And make it and help, you know.
Right.
Help others, I guess.
Right.
Was that
right.
the message that
you
got?
Yeah. Well, I'm a little ways down the road now into it, and I'm realizing that as I share the dolphin messages that they say that they're sharing with me about my friends,
right,
that they're real.
Yeah.
And they're saying things I couldn't know.
Yeah.
And they're helpful.
Yeah.
And people were commenting. They said, you should do this for, others. You should do it professionally. And then I'm trying to think, there's like three main stories, but one was...
Well, we got to wrap up this section, but
okay.
I want to hear, when we come back, I want to hear some of those stories about how this gift has actually helped transition you and grow you and also grow some others. And I want my audience to be able to connect with this. So
okay,
we'll
great.
be right back.
Thank you.
We'll be back with more Voices of Courage with Ken D. Foster.
Would you like to help someone in need to move from poverty to prosperity? Stars of Courage, a 501c3 nonprofit, is looking for established life coaches with experience in education and career mentorship to build confidence and create clear paths to success. Join our team of experienced coaches in a wide variety of fields, equipped with warm hearts with a passion for lifting up those in need. Our Stars of Courage. Find out how you can make a difference at starsofcourage.org. That's starsofcourage.org.
Are you feeling stuck or in a holding pattern with your business or life, and you're not doing the things you want or love? Then at some point, you're going to be faced with a decision. You'll either choose to keep living in your comfort zone and risk a life of mediocrity, or increase your courage, step into your power, and forge into the unknown, where everything new becomes possible. If you're truly ready to live masterfully, then you need Ken D. Foster's newest book, The Courage to Change Everything, Strategies and Wisdom to Transform Your Life One Day at a Time. This powerful but simple guide provides you with 365 days of life-transforming wisdom, profound questions, and action steps that will increase your strength and open the doors to success. Stop wondering why your business or life isn't working. The answers are available now. Imagine if you had more courage or another chance to start following your dreams. To pick up your copy of The Courage to Change Everything, visit thecouragetochangeeverything.com. That's thecouragetochangeeverything.com.
We're back with Voices of Courage with Ken D. Foster. Learn more about Ken, how to be a guest on the show, and sponsorship opportunities by visiting voicesofcourage.us. And now your host, Ken D. Foster.
Whatever it takes, 'cause I love the adrenaline in my veins. I do
As a business owner, your online presence is more important than ever. People will look you up online before they pick up the phone. That's why the right image of yourself in the branding of your business is vital. And I've come across an amazing photographer here in San Diego, a branding expert. Her name is Ann Landstrom, and her company is annphotography.com. And I recommend you give her a call. She promises to give you images that will bring out the best in you and your business. It's annphotography.com, 760-610-6263. That's 760-610-6263. Okay, listen, our topic today is the courage to connect with your higher self, and I'm in studio with my guest, Laurie Reyon Anderson, and we're talking about, we just finished talking about her near-death experience that woke her up, and she was going to tell us a story about how she came into her current work.
Yeah. Well, I started to realize that, I really was an animal communicator without doing it professionally. I was just doing it for others. And then I came across a webinar. No, I'm sorry, it wasn't a webinar. It was a live event with Amelia Kincaid. And I had a couple other events, too, that put me on the path. So I went to Amelia's workshop, and I had the picture of my cat, Pootie, who had passed over at that time. And she held that picture, and she said, "You're very special." And I said, "What does that mean?" And she said, "Because this being has chosen you to be a voice for the world." And the cats have always told me, she said, that there are cats on the planet that are not really cats. They're master beings. And she said, "This is a healer of the healers. This is an ancient being that wants to speak through you and will come back, and he will be born on the same birthday, March 3rd, isn't it?" And it was March 3rd. So now Puda has come back and has been born on March 3rd 4 times. This is Puda 3, and she's 10 years old and has been a guiding force in my life. So she went on to write a chapter, which we don't really have time to go into today, but it's in her book, and it's also in my book, Dolphins and Whales Forever, about how Puda ended up teaching me to talk to the dolphins, which ultimately led me to speaking to the whales.
So when someone talks to the dolphins or to the animals, why is that important? What happens there?
Okay. Well, the animals are the greater body of healers and teachers on this planet. And if you take that statement into your heart, you'll feel it. If you really let yourself go into your heart, surrender your mind, they really are. And if you look at your dog or your cat at home and you see something other than something just cute and fluffy, you see a master being in there, you're gonna trace yourself in that moment back to the angelic root race, and you're gonna feel a benevolence that maybe you didn't feel before, that the animal has no polarity, no duality, no karma, has only purpose. Mm-hmm. So when we connect to them, we're connecting to our higher self, and we're connecting to the divine, because that's who they are.
I recall a experience I had when we went down to San Ignacio, and we went down there specifically to see the gray whales that migrate down there in the bay there in San Ignacio Bay down in Baja in Mexico. And when we went out on these little boats, the fishermen or the boat drivers started to pray on the way out to see the whales, and I'm thinking they're praying so that the whale doesn't kill us, right? But but actually, what they were praying for is that they didn't hit the whales, right? They were praying that they would be calm and safe. When we had that experience, I can remember the joy, the feeling, looking into the magenta eye of the whale when they came up to the boat, the side of this little 10-man boat, right? And we're feeling something. We're feeling something that's not what we normally feel. I mean, we feel joy and bliss. Another
great support I have is Cryon. Some people may know Cryon, Kryon.com. It's a huge worldwide metaphysical organization, and a channel. And Cryon says that the dolphins and whales are the only other beings on the planet that share multidimensional DNA.
Wow.
So that's part of that we're connected in that way. And they came here 300 million years ago to be way showers for us and to be the Akashic readers. They hold the Earth's wisdom in the water molecules, and they can access that. They've been helping us from the beginning of time. It's just us waking up to it and to who that really majestic being is, that super sentient, wonderful being that's connected to the Earth.
So how, practically speaking, how do we connect with the animals? How does somebody connect?
Practically speaking?
Yeah, practically.
Like to communicate with them?
To communicate with them.
Well,
yeah.
we can't do it all on the show, but I teach a lot of different processes to connect the heart to the third eye, because that's the mechanism. The third eye is actually, it's the biological organ that God gave you to connect to spirit. So we wouldn't feel alone here on this planet when we separated out. How many people know that, though?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So the animals are the way showers in that. When we connect our heart to our third eye, and I teach some processes called triangulation, and of course we practice, and it is wonderful. And then we practice both sending and receiving. Sometimes you're a better sender, sometimes you're a better receiver, and you want to get in balance with the circle of communication. And that takes some practice, but I want you to know everyone can do it. Everyone has a heart, and everyone has a third eye, and most people love animals. Those that don't just maybe haven't awakened yet to their true purpose,
right?
And their benevolence, and their magical healing abilities.
Right. It's interesting. I mean, this. I have a little dog. It's a Maltipoo, and her name is Daisy. And Daisy, yesterday, I was asking her. I said, "What would you like Laurie Reyon to answer for you?" And every time I would ask her, she'd look at me, and then she'd put her head on my chest.
Oh.
And then she'd go do her thing. I said, "Well, we're going to talk to Laurie Reyon. What do you want her to share with us?" And she'd come back up and put her. Yeah, she did like 3 times. I was like, "Well, this is very interesting. This because it's not a behavior she normally does."
I did connect with her, and I wrote down a lot of things that I can share with you.
Yeah.
She loves you very much.
Yeah.
She has a great purpose in your life.
Yeah.
But once we got going, I mean, I wrote
right.
A couple of pages.
Oh my gosh!
Pages
well,
of stuff, so.
Yeah, I don't know if we have time to do that here on the show, but
I'll share that with you.
But I'd like you to share that with.
Absolutely.
Well, maybe share a couple pieces because this is kind of what you do. If somebody has a
so we
pet
want to show
that's
Daisy?
There's Daisy.
I work mostly on the phone with people all over the world.
Right.
And they send me a picture of their animal, either in the physical or one that's transitioned.
Okay.
And it takes me 10 minutes or less to get in and talk. And Puda takes moments.
Right.
She's there. So.
Okay. And Daisy wasn't in your presence. She was just.
Yeah, we just did it from there.
So, share a couple pieces and then just so people get a feel of what you
so
do.
these are the categories you pick. We talked about, her physical body pain, stiffness. We talked about what she wants. We talked about a personal message for you.
Right.
What would you like of those categories?
Let's do the pain piece. Yeah.
Okay. She has stiffness in her front legs and her neck and her back. She's a little bit uncomfortable in her tummy. I asked her if she was nervous, and she said no. I asked her if she had fear, and she said no. She wants different food. Puda said she needs more calcium, and she would benefit from some CBD oil. And we could go into more detail.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So, and just to validate those pieces is that Daisy just hurt her front paw the other day. She was running, and something happened. So
she says it's stiff.
It's stiff right now. Yeah,
mostly in the front right one.
Yeah, and that front right. Exactly. That's exactly what happened. Front right.
So see, if I can talk to animals and find out all this, so can you.
That's amazing.
Okay.
That's amazing.
And
okay.
Lots more, but
lots more. Okay. All right. So we talked about the whales, right? You wanted to mention something about the whale work and the workshops that you do. We got about a minute on this segment. You want to tell people how to connect with you on those?
So not the message yet.
It's up to you which way you want to go.
Well, it would take more than a minute.
Okay.
Probably like 4 minutes or something.
Let's wait on that. We'll bring that back. We'll talk about.
But I will
message.
say that after I started working with the dolphins and they asked me to be a voice for the group consciousness of them.
Right.
In 2008, the whales came in. And I was afraid. I was really afraid. It took me a while, but I was asked to do a whale message at a Native American gathering, which was kind of a big deal. And they just said, you will bring forth a message from the Great Whale Council. And I went, I just do cats and dolphins. And they said, you will bring forth a message from the Great Whale Council. And I went, so I went within, really went within and wanted to be a voice. And that night, the first message came in.
Okay, so I want to hear what that first message is going to be, but I got to take a little break here. So
Okay.
we'll be right back with Laurie Reyon and the messages. Laurie, we're also going to give her website out on the beginning of the next segment, so stay tuned. We'll be right back.
We'll be back with more Voices of Courage with Ken D. Foster.
Attention business owners. The feeling of being overwhelmed, stressed out, and facing difficult business challenges goes hand in hand with being an entrepreneur. But there are solutions, and it's time to explore the possibilities. You work hard as an entrepreneur. Give yourself the break you deserve. Ken D. Foster is the business coach for you. Ken has over 21 years of experience with leaders just like you, who trust to share what is truly going on in their business and that thing called life. You're invited to set up a free confidential consultation with Ken. His wisdom, guided methods, and unique strategies will bring you to new heights and break through obstacles. Visit KenDFoster.com to set up your free confidential consultation. It's time to achieve your dreams because you deserve a successful business and a balanced, happy life. Sound great? Find out how to make this happen. Visit KenDFoster.com. That's KenDFoster.com. KenDFoster.com.
We're back with Voices of Courage with Ken D. Foster. Learn more about Ken, how to be a guest on the show, and sponsorship opportunities by visiting voicesofcourage.us. And now your host, Ken D. Foster.
Whip, run me like a racehorse, pull me like a ripcord, break me down and build me up. I wanna be the slip, word of
Well, we are having fun today in studio. We are talking about messages from the whales and the dolphins and the animals, and having done a show like this is really amazing, interesting. It really gets us out of our comfort zone and helps us to start to expand what is really possible. Listen, I want to let you know the show is being brought to you by Women's Wisdom, San Diego's premier networking and relationship building group for purpose-driven and soul-inspired female entrepreneurs. You can find them at womenswisdom.net. That's womenswisdom.net. Okay, in studio with me is Laurie Reyon Anderson. Laurie is a best-selling author. She's a filmmaker. She's got an amazing film out there called The Ascension Guidance, Living Your Sacred Heart. She did that in 2015. She facilitates retreats and workshops where people can swim with the dolphins and the whales. If you want to find out a little bit more about Laurie, you can go to her website at lauriereyon.com. That's LAURIE. REYON.com, LaurieReyon.com, LaurieReyon.com. That's it, Laurie.
Okay.
All right, messages. We're talking about the messages.
Yes, the whales came in and have shared messages with me in since 2008 and has helped me launch now the Whale and Dolphin Energy Medicine School, and amazing healing modalities they've given me. But I'd like you all to just close your eyes and go into your heart to feel the power.
Well, if you're driving, don't do that.
Yeah,
but,
if you're driving.
Okay.
So this is from the great humpback whales. We are the ancient of the ancients. We are the soul of the souls. We are your past, and we are your memories. We are your present, and we are here with you now in the now time. We are your link, joined with you to create the future for healing and ascension of Mother Gaia. We are a group consciousness, stewarding this planet as an example of the good of the many. The whales are the molecular librarians of Earth's evolution. What we call the Akashic Records lives in the oceans of planet Earth. The information is stored in the water molecules. Since water is never destroyed, it's only recycled. Earth's entire history remains safe in our ocean archives. The whales can access the information, circulate it, and contribute to it, communicating by connecting to the intelligence in the water molecules. They tell me the information in the water will teach us in the future that the body fluid of the human will eventually be used to provide flawless, individualized treatment for people's health maladies. The whales would like to assist you in remembering who you really are. Knowing and honoring who we are is an aspect of our personal growth towards love of self and love of our earth. They tell us that it's important for the human to reach a point in their evolution where we truly become the seeker of ourselves. It is important to reach for the knowledge that is held in the Akashic Records that tells us who we are, where we are from, what we are made of, and why we are here today to experience your divine life mission. In our quest for this knowledge of self-awareness, we are identifying ourselves as beings who value love above all else. And we are confirming our belief in love by changing our lifestyles accordingly. We are coming to know ourselves as vibrations of love, and in doing so, are coming to remember our world, our beautiful Mother Gaia, in a new light. In our remembrance, we are drawn to gather with like-minded people and start to take back the conscious control of our environment. We are remembering that what we think and what we feel affects our environment and the others living around us. Once we take control of our emotions and thoughts, we see that we do truly create our own realities and that we do have control over our own environments. We are not the victims. The whales call this intentional evolution.
Okay. Wow. That's powerful. Okay. I know there's a lot more to that, and I think that one of the ways that they can do that, again, is connect to you, right, Laurie?
Yeah.
Or your book, right? Is that in the book, by the way? Is that
message is
that,
not
that message?
Yeah, no,
is
it
not.
is. Yes, it is.
Yeah, that message is in the book. And tell me the name of the book again.
It's Dolphins and Whales Forever.
Dolphins and Whales Forever.
And it's on Amazon.
It's on Amazon. Yeah. That's really powerful.
Yeah.
So that just came through you. Is
It
that?
did.
Yeah.
And it led me to many years now of being available to them, to be a voice for the group consciousness.
Yeah.
And that led me to doing their healing work, to
Yeah.
summoning that energy.
Yeah.
And that's just really taken over my life now. We live in the miracle zone where whale and dolphin energy can actually calibrate your DNA.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Well, you know, it's interesting because I think that a lot of people, that when you say, you know, in the message, it says, you know, basically to connect with who you are. It's like, well, a lot of people don't realize who they are, right? They think they're their thoughts, or they think they're their personality, or they think they might be the body, or they think they might be their car or their hair, or
Well, let's
you know,
just mention the higher self thing again.
Yeah.
People say, what is your higher self? And I would say that's your soul.
Mm-hmm.
That's the eternal, immortal piece of you that's in non-physical,
right.
that chooses to stay, you know, on the other side. And what a great day when the soul can connect with the physical body, because here we're given free will, right?
That's
we
it.
can choose to not remember who we are,
Yeah.
connect to our soul, or we can choose to create that pathway of grace.
And we can choose to stay in illusion of
Right.
pretending we're something else.
Right.
Or we can connect deeply with our soul to get the answers to our greatest challenges, which I know is what you teach.
Yeah, which is
right?
really developing your intuition
It's developing your intuition.
and living in the heart.
Right. Right.
Moving out of the mind. The mind was never meant to. I mean, are you in love with your computer, or are you in love through the heart? You see what I'm saying with
Right.
everything in life. A
Right.
lot of people think the answers are in your mind,
Right.
and that's a misbelief. It's a lie. Actually.
Well, people like Einstein would say, all I want to know are the thoughts of God, the rest are details. So what are the thoughts of the higher self, the thoughts of God? The thoughts
Love
of
is the answer.
infinite? Yeah.
Love is the solution.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned, this is a holographic,
Yeah.
reality that we're living in
Yeah.
here. And when you move into the heart, that becomes evident.
Yeah.
Because
Can
you
it-
become the creator of
Yeah.
your life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Conscious creation,
Yeah.
as opposed to wandering around
Yeah.
aimlessly. First of all, let's just go just one statement. No one's from Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? We're all just camping.
We're all camping. Yeah. We're all visiting, right?
Yeah. So
Right.
there's a lot of wisdom that comes from who you are and where you're from.
Mm-hmm.
Something to think about.
That's really good. You know, I look at our nation today, and we're really polarized in many issues, and we're polarized because everybody wants to be right, or everybody wants to make the other one wrong.
Well, what if everybody is right? In
Well,
their
that's-
world, they're right.
In their world, well, of course, everybody is right.
So there's free will.
Right.
And what if it's just observation versus judgment?
Yeah.
You know, where we can observe that everyone, that's right for them,
Mm-hmm.
that's right for me, and that's right for you. And then we don't have to fight anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the beauty of not being cookie cutters, right?
Yeah.
Everybody having.
Well, if everybody was right, though, I think about people that are committing crime or sexual abuse, or are they right in?
I'd love to
doing
do a
that?
show sometime with you on that,
Yeah.
on those contracts.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
not today.
Yeah.
That's too much.
Well,
for today,
I
but, yeah.
agree that they
We have
they
to get
came
in the heart to be able to
Oh,
understand that.
I get where we're going with that. Okay, yeah, I get. Yeah, well, there's got to be a villain and a hero.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's part of the third dimensional
part of the part of duality.
But
Actually,
that's the thing, though. You can live in a higher dimension while you're in the 3D when you stay in your heart. And you can just then observe. You become neutral to all of that.
That's right.
and you don't try to intervene. It's none of your business.
Yeah.
They say it's none of my business
So
what
listen,
you think of me.
I want to say this real quick because I'm running out of time here. You do whale and dolphin retreats, and when's the next one coming up?
We have one in February coming up,
Okay.
as you mentioned earlier, in San Ignacio.
Right.
February 11th through the 16th.
In San Ignacio. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
11th through the 16th, where you can actually pet the whales. They come right up to the boats, and it's a wonderful retreat with beautiful eco-friendly cabins, and we go down in a van.
Wow.
It's an amazing experience. And then we go out on the Sea of Cortez to see the blue whales
Okay.
and the dolphins. So
Okay.
check out our site.
Okay.
It's the Gray Whale Gratitude Retreat. It's a
Okay.
spiritual cetacean journey.
And then you have another workshop coming
Yeah,
up.
March 3rd will be our 9th annual Expand Your Consciousness retreat in Hawaii. I go back every year to Hawaii when the whales are there.
What island?
Maui this year.
Maui, okay.
Maui this year. It's the heart center of the world.
Right.
you know?
Right.
So, and I'm working with Archpriestess Heather Salmon there in the the kahunas.
Uh-huh.
So it's a very spiritual but beautiful journey with lots of boat trips, okay? So we'll be snorkeling with the dolphins and seeing the whales.
That sounds amazing. Is that the one that's 8 days, I think it is?
It's 7 days.
7 days. Okay. Listen, Laurie, thank you for being here on this show. If you want to connect to Laurie, go to lauriereyon.com. That's lauriereyon.com. I hope you will. She's an amazing lady. She's got she just barely touched the surface of her wisdom and knowledge here. So, Laurie, I hope you come back and then join us again.
Love that.
Yeah, this has been enlightening.
Been a lot of fun.
Been very enlightening. Okay, listen, we're going to be coming back, and we're going to try to put all these pieces together about how to increase your consciousness and your awareness of who you are. We'll be right back.
We'll be back with more Voices of Courage with Ken D. Foster.
Are you feeling stuck or in a holding pattern with your business or life, and you're not doing the things you want or love? Then at some point, you're going to be faced with a decision. You'll either choose to keep living in your comfort zone and risk a life of mediocrity, or increase your courage, step into your power, and forge into the unknown, where everything new becomes possible. If you're truly ready to live masterfully, then you need Ken D. Foster's newest book, The Courage to Change Everything, Strategies and Wisdom to Transform Your Life One Day at a Time. This powerful but simple guide provides you with 365 days of life-transforming wisdom, profound questions, and action steps that will increase your strength and open the doors to success. Stop wondering why your business or life isn't working. The answers are available now. Imagine if you had more courage or another chance to start following your dreams. To pick up your copy of The Courage to Change Everything, visit thecouragetochangeeverything.com. That's thecouragetochangeeverything.com.
We're back with Voices of Courage. And now your host, Ken D. Foster.
Whatever it takes, 'cause I love you.
The courage to connect with your higher self and generate some higher dreams. That's kind of cool. Listen, I have a seminar that I want to let you know about, all my listeners. It's called Create Unstoppable Self-Confidence. It's coming up November 5th through the 11th. You can register for free at, I'll spell it, avaiya.com/Voices of Courage, avaiya.com/Voices of Courage. All right. This has been an incredible show talking about our higher consciousness and how to tap into that. You know, I wrote a book a while back. By the way, Laurie's going to join us in this segment. She was just on the last couple. She's going to join us in this segment, and we're going to talk about a couple other things she has coming up. And she's got a free gift for you. So just hang in here. She's got an amazing free gift that instantly connects you to your heart. So hold in here, and I'll give you that at the later on in this segment. All right, I wrote a book. It's took me many years to write because I didn't want it just to be more information. I think there's plenty of information on the world. What we need now is wisdom. And so the book is called The Courage to Change Everything. It's really about changing the way that you see things. It's helping you see things in a different light and do things that you probably have never been able to do before. And the way I designed it to drip on you every single day because I realized that when you have a way of thinking that you've been thinking the whole your 20, 30, 40, 50 years, it's probably not going to change in a day, but it can. But you have to have the right paradigm shift to be able to do that. So every day I drip on you with a little wisdom in this book, and start out with a quote, give you some wisdom, and then I ask you some questions to start to go deeper within your own soul. So today I'm going to read from the book. Again, it's called The Courage to Change Everything, and you can get this at thecouragetochangeeverything.com. We're doing pre-orders right now. Book's coming out in January, into January. Here we go. Day 89. Life grows and blossoms in relation to one's courage and connection with God. Do you ever feel that you're being blown away by life circumstances like a piece of cardboard in the wind? If so, the way out is seeking the truth in what is happening to you. Nothing happens by accident. You are exactly where you are because you put yourself there. If you don't like what's happening to you, then you must look for the veil of your mind. The truth of what is happening is always found behind the curtain that hides it. To unveil the curtain, I suggest you search for the brilliance that is you and discover your own true nature. It is by finding your own true self that you will find the keys to lasting success that are embedded in all of us. Although what I am struggling is common to most, well, I found a little error in my little book here. I'm going to have to go back and then do that. So let me ask, here are the questions. Today ask, what can I do to connect deeper with my true nature? Number 2, what can I do to create unlimited success and freedom? Number 3, what am I being called to do differently? Then the actions, take some actions to still your mind and tap into the source of your greatness. Okay, you can get The Courage to Change Everything at thecouragetochangeeverything.com. All righty. So we're talking today about connecting with your higher self, your higher consciousness. And I want to say that the way to do this is what I mentioned in that book, which is to take some time today and find a quiet place. Stop running around like crazy. And today I'm going to suggest that you watch a movie. Now, not any movie. I have an amazing movie that I watched the other day, and I'm going to bring Laurie back on because she's going to talk about the movie. And this movie is going to be it's a free gift to you. But if you'll take some time to connect, I guarantee this movie will connect you to your heart, and it'll open up some pieces that you haven't connected with for a while. Laurie, where did they get this movie?
Yeah, it's called Ascension Guidance, Living in Your Sacred Heart. And it took us about 3.5 years to make it, and 64 people. But it's incredible. It's step-by-step ways to raise your vibration, listening to messages from the consciousness of Master Cat Puda, who's my partner, and the whales and dolphins, and connecting to your higher self. So you can go to our website, and it's a free gift to everyone. You go to lauriereyon.com. That's LaurieReyon.com. And at the top of the homepage, you sign in, and we'll bounce the movie right back to you. You'll have it digitally within 1 day.
Okay.
It comes right back to you. And
Okay.
we'd love to hear back from you after you've seen it and watched it. And it will open you up to what my whole really message today is connecting now to the higher realms through the dolphins and whales on planet Earth. Even if you don't see them in the physical, just bringing them in through energy or listening to their sounds or being conscious now of something maybe you weren't conscious of before.
Well, listen. When I was before I put on the movie, and I was in a very mindful place and very busy. I'm walking. I'm thinking, oh, I need to watch the movie. So Laurie, I'm having Laurie on the show, and I thought, well, I get a lot of movies that come my way and books, and and I try to review them all. So I turned it on, and almost instantly, with the beauty, the majesty of some of the pictures and the dolphins and the whales, I instantly just stopped everything I was doing.
They're
pulled
stunning,
me right
aren't they?
in.
They're
Pulled me
stunning,
right into it.
stunningly beautiful, and they pull
Yeah.
you right into your heart,
They do.
and they teach you.
They do. Yeah. So
So it starts with just simple meditation, and at the end of the film, you actually go into the eye of the great white whale,
wow.
and it's a healing.
Wow.
So.
Okay. Well, Laurie, thank you again for being here. I really appreciate it. And give that
You're so
website
welcome.
again.
Okay. Yeah.
One
Come to
more
our
time.
site to get your movie. Okay. You're going to love it. It's LaurieReyon.com, LaurieReyon.com.
Okay.
It's the first film of its kind.
It is. It's really cool. So I think my listeners will love that, Laurie.
I think they will.
Yeah. All right. So I have a couple tips and conclusion wrapping up our show today. So my tip for you this week is to really make a conscious effort to take some time to get still this week and not do your same thing that you do every single week, which is busy, go. Everybody's doing that. But if you want unlimited success, truly, you have to tap into your higher consciousness, higher parts of yourself. So this week, I would encourage you to set your intention to expand your consciousness. And I got a couple of questions that I would like to give you for this week. What will you do this week that you think is impossible right now? What will you do this week that you think is impossible to make it possible? And number 2, where will you expand your presence and your power? All righty. Great show. Thank you, Laurie, for being here. You can pre-order my latest book at, again, thecouragetochangeeverything.com. You can find the recording of this show and all our replays at voicesofcourage.us and on Facebook or by searching Voices of Courage Radio on Siri, Alexa, or Cortana. Also, if you're so inclined, please let your friends know about the show and give us a like on Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn. Hey, and listen, until next time, live courageously and see the unseeable, know the unknowable, and do the impossible. Have a brilliant week.
Thanks for joining us for Voices of Courage with Ken D. Foster. Learn more about Ken, how to be a guest on the show, and sponsorship opportunities by visiting voicesofcourage.us. Be sure to join us next Sunday at 10 a.m. as Ken brings more stories of courage that will inspire greatness within you and change your life for the better. This has been Voices of Courage with Ken D. Foster.